What's going on, world? It's your boy Kuya P. This is the NRW Nerds Rule the World, and I'm here with my trios team, but I only have two of the trios, myself and Webster Style. My man Sean Mongo out of nowhere RKO'd us that he's on vacation. Didn't tell us so. Didn't invite some brothers over. Nope. So enjoy yourself, Sean. But yes, our trios championship holders are just the duo again, me and Webster Style. So Sean, man, enjoy yourself. But we chose to come together because we got some news. We are big fans of wrestling. This is the K. I forgot even to tell the title of the program. This is the KayFabeyBaby NRW Ring Generals Podcast. We wanted to do one, man, because we're trying to stay consistent and provide that content. So there's a bit of news. There's a bit of news since we last got together. Webster Style, man. There's a couple things we brought up right before we started. Let's start with let's go. You know what? I'm gonna switch it up. Let's do A to Z. Let's go with AEW. Okay. Let's start with them. Since I use that as my backdrop today. Dynamite, as I think was like last night as of this recording.
Yes.
There's quite a few matches on and some highlights. Where do you want to start first? Should I start with my background, I guess?
Yeah, start with your background.
We got FTR, the team of Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, Sangam Singh. They were doing what I don't know. Did it start off as like a promo? All I remember is my man Sanjay with two guitars with FTR's names on each guitar. And then all of a sudden, like they were in the ring or FTR was in the ring talking. And then it led to a brawl, which then led to Miss Jarrett coming out there.
Yeah, that was all left.
What do you think about that whole thing?
Okay. I just find it weird that they have been getting this push, meaning Jarrett and Jay Lethal, considering a lot of the young tag teams that what they've had. I mean, you got to think now, even the Acclaim, the Guns, what the Varsity Blondes are they even a thing anymore? Top Flight, because the one brother keeps getting hurt all the time. I mean, but you're pushing Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Two wrestlers I have
legendary.
I mean, I have no. It's just I don't have a problem. I just think it's weird.
Yeah,
and that's the only
this thing. Late. I would have expected like an earlier push.
Well, I mean, but this has kind of been sustained though. It's been going on for the past couple months now. Them being around this picture. I mean, they kind of feuded with the Acclaim a little bit when they had the titles. I mean, now FTR. But again, I love me some Jay Lethal, so I'm not complaining about that. And then, as I said to you, when they brought in Karen Jarrett, I was like, I'm getting shades of TNA here. Again, that's not a problem though.
Yeah.
It's just that because AEW was positioned as this new, fresh company, new, innovative ideas, it is so weird to see them. Now, I'm not saying they don't work, but it's so weird to see them to going back to formulas and people, things that we were watching to some respect 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 15 years ago. And again, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying for what this company put itself out as, it's weird seeing that behind you.
I would agree. With that sentiment. But I would also say in a way for fans that return to wrestling in a way, or at least to like outside of WWE, that didn't watch TNT, Impact, Ring of Honor, like, I would say I got back into it a little bit more, but I really have been I've always been like a WWE mainstay. And then there's like WCW. And it was only till recently, like really learning more about like the independent singles. And so, like, I gotta say this past week, and because of them and this video that I want to throw up in a second, that really blew me away. I think why not also, I see your point, but also why not capitalize? And because AEW has also built itself up to be a bigger contender than those other organizations to WWE in quite some time. You know what I'm saying? I don't think TNA, to be honest, or I don't know, maybe I'm looking at it from a different lens, but I don't think TNA was ever that much of a contender as AEW was to WWE.
They were solid number 2 for a while. They just,
I might, like I said, I might be
Dixie
wrong.
Carter screwed them up toward the end. Like their book, but they were big time for a while.
Yeah. Well, I got you. And again, like I said, but why not bring that back up again and that energy up and utilize it in a way? Although, like you said, they're well able to do their own thing and not rehash. And that's, and like we're saying, like fresh, they don't need to go to the well, say, if it will, but maybe, because they have such a bigger platform. I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, I understand.
And it worked, and there's interest there. And I know for myself, as somebody I didn't know Jay Lethal that much until like maybe 2 years ago, Ring of Honor, being at the last Ring of Honor, known Jeff Jarrett from way back when, didn't really track his TNA, and I don't know much about Miss Jarrett over here, so I think it's cool. And having a friend through mutual friends with Sanjay, just seeing what they're doing, I think it's hilarious. And I don't know if you caught recently that video that they were making reference to with the FTR thing, where Jay and Jarrett and all of them went to the Briscoe compound.
Yes, I did see that.
That was kind of funny. That was hilarious. And they like did some farm shit. And all of that, and we'll get into that a little bit. But I don't know, they've been really growing on me. This combination here has grown on me. And this past week or whatever, I saw this video, and I want you to check this out if you hadn't seen it. Okay. But for those that don't know much about Jay Lethal, I've now, because of this video, become a deeper fan of Jay Lethal, bro. So much so that, where is it? I got this right here.
Nice.
From the Pro Wrestling Crate, Jay Lethal autograph to add to my collection. I've been getting back into the cards and shit, and now I'm getting like 8x10s and stuff. But let me throw this on real quick for you to check out.
I think I know what you're going to do.
You do? Okay, let's see.
I got a good idea.
Let's see. And then you'll tell me in a second. Here we go. All right, here we go, Eldon. This is where I lost my mind and became a deeper fan of Jay Lethal. And if y'all haven't seen this yet, y'all are going to become a super fan of Jay Lethal just like I am. Here we go.
Woo! Okay, I knew.
There we go.
Jay Lethal.
Listen.
Hear that punk right there say anything about the 4 horsemen?
Sounds so much like it.
The greatest group of men to ever grace God's green earth. I didn't hear that, because as far as I'm concerned, it looks like the horsemen were here, they took a dump in the ring, and they left that.
Wow. I'll go up there and I'll break your neck right now, punk.
I had the privilege to be on the road, up and down, late nights, parties, kissing the girls, and making them cry. With the horsemen, you guys, as far as I'm concerned, are no horsemen. That is disrespectful to me and this wrestling business.
You can see he wants to smile.
Mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all? Why ain't you, Nature Boy? Not that pisshead Jay Lethal. Hey! That's right.
What?
Come on, brothers. Let's see what you got. You can throw your Rolex. Let's see what you got. Come on. Throw all your balls away, Rick. Come on. Let's see what you got. You want to see something? Yeah. Let me show you something. I want to see it.
My friend's got one shoe on, by the way.
You want to see it? Yeah. You want to see it?
Yeah.
Watch this. driving Flynn nuts. Right there is the greatest thing I've ever seen. You can't be me. You can't do me. And I'm cutting you off right now. You're cutting me off. Yeah. You don't cut me off. Woo! Hey, don't you start that with me. Woo! Woo! Don't you be limited riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun that could kiss any woman right here, even that fat one, and make her cry. Big man, don't get me wrong. Don't you be upset because they tore Old Space Mountain down. Don't be upset. But hey, because of Rick, oldest ride, longest line. Woo! Woo! Well, Rick, thanks to me, Space Mountain. See what you got, man. Let's see what you got.
There's the yellow shoe drop.
You know what?
This is insane.
You want to see it up there? You know what? Woo! Come to the ring right now. Woo! 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 Woo!
It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen.
You got nothing. Limousine riding, Rolex wearing, kid stealing. Brother, watch this, girls. Woo! You honey. Woo! Yeah, you honey. That ride has been shut down long enough. Thanks to me.
Your mouth.
We're gonna cut it off right there.
Let me tell you, between that and Steiner Math, those are two of my favorite Impact promos ever. Impact TNA. Oh,
You did a Steiner joint?
No, just the Steiner Math promo where he's like 33 and a third, chance to beat me. You're talking about Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle. That classic. But let me tell you this though. If you thought have you seen him as Black Machismo?
No, but that's another thing that I saw.
Look
I followed Pro Wrestling Crate, and they apparently, and there's like a bit of wrestling news that he is trying to secure that name so no one can use it.
Okay,
and
if you think
I never knew
Flair,
that Jay Lethal did a Macho Man-esque.
Yes,
character.
Black Machismo. Yes,
I gotta see this.
This is why you have all three Ricks. We're all at different levels. Like I watch Impact. Let me tell you what got me to Impact TNA. This was grad school. This is when you had to pay $10 a week to see it on pay-per-view. I saw online a match between Low Key and the Amazing Red, and was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. I started paying $10 for that joint every week after that.
Wow.
So I went back with TNA when you were paying for it before they got a TV deal, and I've been a fan of Jay Lethal ever since I saw him when I went to RH Best in World 2018. Him versus Kushida, that match was amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. But yeah, I love some Jay Lethal. So I'm like, I'm not mad at this because I love some Jay Lethal.
Yeah, dude. Like, I fell in love with the brother, and now I'm a bigger fan of him. I want to Google this Black Machismo.
Yes.
How long did he do that character? So
it was a while. He was even in a tag team with Consequences Creed, aka Austin. Up, up, down, down.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, dude. I've become a deeper fan. I want to look up all the things, and but that right there, I was blown away how well. And then when I read about it, like you were saying, like that was off the cuff. You could see that, as wrestling fans, when you hear a good promo, you see a good promo.
Yes.
That legendary. There's legendary promos. That had to be one of the best promos I've seen, and easily cracking a top 10. If I were to all of a sudden, like now, framework a top 10 in my head, that bitch has got to be up there.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing. So shout out to Jay Lethal. Become a bigger fan of his. And but that was a cool highlight. There's a lot more that we want to talk about, and I apologize for covering that. But if fans, if y'all hadn't seen that has become a viral meme, the Woo off. And if you're not a fan of Jay Lethal, that delivered.
Look, if you're a wrestling fan,
fan,
how can you not be a fan of Jay? Look him up. He's worthy of your fandom.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. I was always curious because like I heard about this Ring of Honor thing. He had like this I was curious about the fuss was. Now I know.
Yes.
Props to that, brother. I will not deny you, Jay Lethal. You the man, bro. Like right. I'm looking forward to digging in deeper. But one of the wildest matches of AEW night, because I forgot we're covering that first off. And I was like, man, we got NXT and WWE and all that. Jericho versus Roderick Strong. That was a wild, crazy match, taking it outside, which, as we all know, Adam Cole can't go into the arena if he's in there. You kind of knew it was going to happen, but I thought it was a fun payoff, and I enjoyed that. What did you think?
I enjoyed it. I've been a fan. Well, Roderick Strong and like the whole, I think pretty much I had some familiarity with Adam Cole pre NXT, not so much with Roddy Strong. Like I wasn't deep. I didn't get into ROH really until Cody was over there, and that's when I started getting in that, and that's when I saw Jay Lethal was there. I'm like, oh, okay. So I wasn't really familiar with Roderick Strong and all those other cats, but I became familiar when he jumped over to NXT. I was like, yo, and Undisputed Era. I was like, honestly, he was my favorite member of Undisputed Era. So when he popped up with AEW, I'm like, oh, this is great. I mean, a very large pond to jump into, but it was good seeing him back on television and seeing him wrestling. And I thought, for me, he always came off as that everyman sort of wrestler, in my opinion. Like he had a great physique, great body, but he was a regular guy. At least that's how he came to me, and that's one of the things I always liked about him, especially compared to Cole and Fish and
Kyle.
Why did I forget the Kyle O'Reilly? Yeah. He was the more likable one, in my opinion. So it was good seeing him on TV and seeing him wrestling. Yeah, and that finish was, well, we knew. We had an idea what was going to happen with that.
Yeah, I honestly I'm not aware that much about Undisputed, only because of trading cards and getting back into the wrestling game, and with that a little bit more to help with my knowledge here with what we do here. So and just the few appearances, because I wasn't a big NXT guy. Right. Saw a little bit of Cole before he left, and then he came to here. But I was very curious with the Roderick showing up. As we all know recently, and now them booking him against Jericho. I was like, oh shit, like you just got this new toy, if you will. And I was like, are you really gonna make him lose against Jericho, who's a big figurehead? I was like, that's gonna be crazy. Why would you do that? But then how this match played out, I was like, okay, wrestling, you got me. That it should have made sense, leading him out for Cole to do his thing. And you didn't make Jericho beat him. You let Strong be strong and continue on to have something, because you shouldn't, hurt these new guys that are coming into play. You should build them up. And so I'm thankful for AEW letting them build them up. I don't know too much about the guy, but I like that. And even for like Jericho to do the honors in a way.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we give some props to Jericho? Because he's been doing honors and getting interviews with a lot of people who you don't know who the hell they are.
Right,
like Action Andretti and who did he just have a few with? Not too long, I forget. Like people you wouldn't expect, because because Jericho's now one of those cats you don't.
I respect that, bro.
Yeah, you don't need a belt. He doesn't need a belt.
Very true.
And just his stature, his status, putting him in the ring with these other characters, that gets them name recognition, and even more so considering how, in many respects, crowded AEW is.
Yeah. No, I thought that was really cool, and I'm digging some of the movement and the choices now, if you will. Keeping it moving. Outcast. Yeah, I love my women's wrestling. What did you think of Outcast? Sheeta versus it was Tony and Ruby versus Britt Baker and Sheeta. It was originally supposed to be Jamie Hayter, but apparently Jamie's slightly hurt, and they're trying to save her for Double or Nothing. What did you think of that?
I would say not saying the match wasn't good. I am just not in tune with the storyline whatsoever.
Kind of off.
Yeah, it doesn't
off.
grab me at all to make me care about anything that happens. And because I saw what is Hater versus, is it Britt Baker for the Double or Nothing? No, it's not. Hater versus
it's
Storm.
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure offhand. Now I'm like confused.
Yeah, because I saw that and I'm like, I don't really care. That's sad to say. This storyline, like and I think I said this before, like I don't really care about the AEW Women's title. Nothing about the storyline makes me care about this title. Yeah. It doesn't really make me care about these wrestlers either. Not like what they're doing with the TBS title. Like at least Jade has a storyline. The people, like, you got the whole thing with Ty. Like there's a story there. Even the people she just been, pile driving and rolling out, or getting jaded, or whatever move is called. It's like there is still stories around those people, and I'm like, I'm not feeling this story. It's just not working with me. So, but we'll see what happens as AEW grows.
Yeah,
over the next about a month, we get the new child from AEW.
And that was going to be another element that I wanted to bring up. So we have the official announcement of Collision because they had like the WB upfronts, Warner Brothers, their parent organization. We've already kind of discussed that, so we'll see what happens there.
But we know what it is now. We know it's a primetime show because we were discussing it as an afternoon primetime show, 8:00. So that means it's going head to head against WWE premium live events when they air on Saturdays. So direct competition there. Andrade is back, Miro's back, Thunder Rosa's advertised for it. So this is not dark or dark elevation on Saturday night. This is a mainline show. And my question with that is, how much is Rampage going to suffer now?
Interesting. Yeah.
Because from what I heard, they're taping that in addition to when they do Dynamite. So there's no B show now. Well, I mean, Rampage is probably going to be the B show, but there's no dark elevation equivalent. So what's going to happen to all of the talent that was basically the filler on those shows? Because you weren't doing filler on Collision, primetime setting. That's not a filler show. So I'll be very curious to see what they do as far as their storylines and also their roster, in my opinion.
Very true. It's going to be interesting. Slightly worried. I feel you on that. And actually, let's ask ourselves this question. I know for myself, my answer, with it being, Saturday nights, do you see yourself watching it live or later on DVR? I can honestly say I probably won't catch it live unless I don't have anything to do on a Saturday night. I'll most likely be catching it off of the DVR.
A weekly? No. I mean, I watched I watched select WWE live events. Oh my God, they got us train little monkeys. Pay-per-views. My God, they're training me to say something different I've been saying for 40 plus years. Anyway. And it's select. It's not like Backlash that looked like that was going to be neat. Whatever the next one is. No. You know what? No. The next one is championship one. Yeah, I'll be watching that too.
Not at Champions. Oh yeah, I will be watching. Okay, say if it's going head to head with a you almost have me saying it now. I was about to say pay-per-view, but it's a live whatever the bullshit is. I will probably watch the live event. Oh, well, I know I will. I'll watch the live event over that Collision. If I'm home and the two are on, I'm watching the live event. If it's not and I'm home, I'll watch it live. But more than likely, I'm not home or I've got other things going on. I will be watching it off of the DVR.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I was saying. Like the pay-per-view, that's a special event. That's like once a month, maybe.
And also, that's why it's going to win out. Because we've been waiting for that build-up.
Right, and I'm saying as far as my time is concerned, and making a point to watch that compared to a weekly wrestling show at 8:00 on Saturday night. Maybe when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And that's only because of the time and responsibilities and just I'm not usually in front of a television at 8:00 on Saturday night, personally speaking. But we'll see. But I think I said before last week, it still will probably do better than whatever they have on at 8 o'clock nowadays, unless it's some other sports, which I don't believe.
Yeah.
It's probably some sort of movie of the week. It's probably some sort of run-of-the-mill drama or something. But this is the thing, though. This is live, and this is cheaper for them to produce than a long-form scripted show, or probably even licensing movies. When you really think about it, that's one of the beauties about, and why everybody's trying to get into a live TV game. It's a lot cheaper to produce compared to that 12 episode sci-fi epic.
Yeah.
That you just greenlit. It's it's cheaper than Game of Thrones by far.
Yeah. Yeah. So more to follow, I guess, on the AEW Collision, but it's here, and we'll see how our viewing habits change or adapt or whatever with all of that. But in regards to some of the build up, with Collision coming, there was reports about, CM Punk, that was going to be his show or whatever, but there's so much in and out. I'm not even going to, there's a lot of BS there, but tied to that, that led to the fallout. Let's go to the ending of this Dynamite broadcast a little bit. We had the Elite, and then their newest member, as we saw kind of like the build up with the Combat Club. Oh my God, I'm forgetting the B.
Blackpool Combat Club.
Blackpool Combat Club. They were battling it out in the parking lot or whatever, the garage, and then we see now that the cowboy dude,
Hangman
is now part of that.
Well, I guess he's really come back to the Elite.
So what do you think about that? Do you care about it? I personally, whatever.
Okay, this is my thing. I enjoy Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah.
I enjoy them immensely. I love how you have these three superstars very much, and then Wheeler Yuler, and how they're really pushing him. I really enjoy that.
I'm really happy that they have him involved with
I am, and have never been, a humongous fan of the Elite at all. And that's where it's coming from with me. I appreciate and respect Omega's talent in the ring. I enjoy some of his matches in Japan. The Young Bucks, again, I will not take anything away from them as far as what kind of name they made for themselves. Do I think they're as awesome as people say they are? No, that's my opinion. And Hangman, I feel like Hangman has really fallen off since when, again, going back 2018, when I saw well, everybody but what's his name? Omega in person at the ROH show, and seeing them and what they were doing at ROH. I'm not, and again, people get older, slower, injuries happen. I get that. I am just not enamored with them from the character work. They get in the ring, well, not, but in this sort of feud, it comes down to character work. Yeah. It comes down to being invested in the story because of the character work. The best character work that's happened with the Elite is Callis turning on Omega. Like that drama.
Yeah, I still got to watch that previous Dynamite. I have that on the DVR. I need to pull that one up. I watched this recent one, but I need to see that match.
But the whole interdynamic with the Elite does nothing for me.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So let's not give them any more there. But yeah, I'm like, and actually, before we shift from there, real quick snapshots. I almost forgot Wardlow and Christian.
Why?
And then I think the other one was
the whole thing with Powerhouse Hobbs just went away. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't understand this. Yeah, and he's advertising being a Collision. I'm like, you had all these back and forths between Wardlow and Darby Allin, all these other people with the TNT title. Hobbs gets it. You have this whole BS breaking thing. Then he loses it, and he's out of the title picture. Like, what? I mean, I don't know if Hobbs is injured or not. I'm like, why is Wardlow again? The booking of that belt has been horrible, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Since they took it off Miro, in my opinion, it's been horrible.
Yeah. It's been, I don't like Ward. I'm not a fan of Wardlow. Like, I don't understand why you took it off of Hobbs. I like what they were doing with QT Marshall and the that TV thing. I was hoping they keep, but then you took it off my man, and like, what the fuck are you doing now? I don't care about that in Christian bullshit. I just want Christian and Edge to team up again one last time. That's what I want to see. Lucha's just weird. The Luchasaurus. I don't understand that too much. I wasn't a fan of all of that kind of thing there. Let's move on to Ricky Starks. What are they doing with Ricky Starks? There was something. I thought they were doing something, and now I just feel like he's fading.
Yeah, he was just feuding against Jericho. Now that's over with.
And I don't know what's happened to Ricky. Yeah. And then outside of that, the last thing, the pillars, the biggest thing that we're leading into, we have Sammy Guevara turning into, I guess, a good guy now, and we have Darby, we have Jungle Boy, and we're gonna have MJF. The 4 pillars at All or Nothing to determine if MJF is going to keep the title. Do you think he's going to keep it, or do you think the other 3 will win it?
I don't care. And that's the
sad part. Or you don't. So it's weird.
It is. It really
and we should care.
You know what though? I don't not like MJF as champion.
Yeah.
I know there were circumstances surrounding a lot of what happened. I think to some degree it was too early. And then they really have anybody else who could really put him over. Except did he beat Bryanson, right?
Bryan Danielson, yeah.
Yeah, Bryan Danielson. Yeah. He beat
Which
Bryan
we haven't
Danielson.
seen in a while. And I was also, we're seeing the bullet, oh my God, I can't get the B anymore. Blackpool Comic Club. That would be interesting.
Right, because there was that point where we're like, is he still part of Blackpool? Is he not part of Blackpool?
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
So
like,
weird.
Where is he? Is he taking a break?
Yeah, like how these storylines have been, how many of these storylines, especially ones for the top titles, have been really strange and how they've been executed, and also how they just disappear.
Yeah.
Once they're done. I mean, say what you will, and we'll get to talking about the Stamford, Connecticut machine in a second, but they have done wonders for that storylines, even making a difference 6-7 months down the line. Hell, we got storylines that's still going on from 20 years ago in some respects. Yeah. So it's just weird how things just disappear over AEW, and there's no kind of rhyme or reason. Again, going back to the whole Hobbs situation, like, unless he's injured, which I don't know, but like, it just, like, the feud was done. He beat him and was done. Like, that was it. Like, that was what, good 3 weeks, maybe
something like that.
Yeah, it was
it's been a minute, bro. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand. So a lot of questions, I feel, like, what's going on? They got me tuned in. There's some stuff that they are doing right. But there's just, but much like WWE, I guess it's all wrestling, really, to be honest. But the fans want to know, we want to know. But let's slide over because our recording time is a little bit limited tonight.
And there's only one title we care about at Night of Champions.
So let's before we get there, we'll close out with that.
Okay.
NXT. I haven't watched the latest episode, but we had the women's title, up from Indy Hartwell because she moved to the main roster. What do you think going over there? And we had Braun and some stuff happening there that I saw, I think, from last week with NXT. Follow real quick.
I am not. It's weird, and I think because they turned Braun heel, I'm not invested in Braun Mello, because in my mind, I'm like, why would Braun win? There's no point to him winning, especially since Mello had got the belt. They should have took Braun out of the title picture altogether, in my opinion. I mean, they
I thought they're moving his ass up.
Exactly.
That's one of the biggest things where I'm like, what the fuck?
They had Mello beat Jason Waller, which has been his only title defense. Waller moved up to SmackDown. Okay, cool. So now you got this heel Braun who doesn't work, in my opinion. Matches are great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I enjoy watching the matches, but
he went against Trick last week. I just remembered, which was weird. I'm sorry. I just remembered that the last match I saw because of the women's tournament was Braun versus Trick Williams.
Yeah.
And that was a weird, the crowd didn't even.
Exactly. The crowd's not even really into it. Yeah, exactly. Like, because I'm not saying, look, I will never knock what they do in the ring. I like Braun. I like Baby Steiner. I like Trick. I like Mello. I like them. I like what they bring to the ring. I like their character work. But this story just don't work because it doesn't make sense considering how we started. Braun should have lost the belt, then got called up. Or he should have lost the belt and then went away for a minute. Then come back. Let Trick get a couple defenses under his belt. Have Braun working main event for a couple months. And then come back, or even like a month or two, and then come back and do this whole thing. The fact that it happened so quickly, it didn't feel right. They pulled the trigger too early. They blew their wad way too fast in turning him heel, and people don't care. And like I said, if you're a wrestling fan, if you really look at things in like storytelling, it makes no sense for Braun to win the belt off of Carmelo. Carmelo is really somebody need to build, and just like they did with Braun and made him a real, like they did an excellent job building him as champion. Even at loss to Dolph Ziggler, it made him look good even in the loss, and they got him exposure on the main roster. It was like, why didn't you call this guy up? I don't get it. And then maybe they can salvage it in the match, and I'm sure the match will be fire. But the storytelling around it has just been subpar, if that. I
gotta agree with that. And I like I think I told you like last episode, I never really got into NXT like that. I started to because of the women's stuff, and from not just that one episode, I'm like, wow, like they just it's interesting. I'm like, okay, because I heard some rumblings, but now seeing it, I'm like, I don't understand it. Any more NXT? So
I know what Roxanne Perez, she advanced. I forget who else advanced. I've only caught bits and pieces of the women's matches from last week. So I'm not fully versed on that. I know they got a storyline. Schism? Is it Schism? Whatever Ava Rain Rock's daughter's group is called. And
I think
I saw some clips of that, which was pretty cool. So I guess gotta go back and watch the full episode. But I mean, it's developmental, and some things are very developmental. Some things are not. Like the women, I keep telling you, I think they have the best women's division in wrestling. Definitely WWE, in my opinion. And they show out every night, every match. The women show out, so that's always a guarantee for me. Yeah, you just remind me. Kiana James looked pretty dope. Again, I was tuned in last week because of that, and curious, with Stratton, what they're doing. I can see why you would say that, and with me as a women's wrestling fan, I'm really curious. But we'll follow up more on that upcoming episode and where that leads up to our eventual champion. Right. So let's head over to the main roster. The big pull from Roman Reigns, the world champion. We're having this tournament. We now know it's going to be AJ Styles versus Seth freaking Rollins. What do you think about that? Because checking out the dirt sheets here and there, it really is a toss-up in a way. At first, I was seeing that, hey, it's going to be Seth. It's going to be Seth. You can't go wrong with that. But now, it's either way, you can't go wrong. But you know what, though? And then because I haven't really thought about it till now, I think they should put it on AJ. I kind of think so, too. Because, again, like we said, Seth really doesn't need it. Right. AJ is back now. You have him back. You have him with a squad with the Good Brothers. Mayim in there. You're trying to elevate that team. I think AJ needs it more than Seth. Yeah, I agree. Just because of his absence. And also, I'm not saying Seth isn't a phenomenal wrestler. Phenomenal. I see what you did there. He is, but AJ is this, again, going back to something about Roger Strong. He is this everyman wrestler. He is somebody who will be there day in and day out. There is something about the lack of flash with AJ Styles that will really ground that belt and make it worthwhile, in my opinion. Seth will bring prominence because of the flash, but I think, especially if you want something that is the opposite of Roman's reign, No pun intended.
You got some singers today. You got some singers today.
If you want something that's the total antithesis of Roman, you put it on AJ.
Yeah.
You put like AJ's a wrestler. And if you look at just the quote unquote history of that belt, you look at that belt, you look at how it was WCW, you look at how it was NWA. That's that symbolism in the world championship and that lineage, that is wrestling. And if you're going to put it on somebody who is the epitome of just pure guts wrestling, you put it on AJ.
Completely agree, dude. I think, the more with everything that's been building up and exactly what you said and what they're saying with that belt and why they quote unquote pulled it from Roman, because let's be honest, we combined everything. No, y'all fucked up. You're trying to rework the stuff. Right. We know the real deal, and now this makes sense. So I think we should end it there. I know there's a lot more we want to talk about. I got some other things, but at the same time, recording wise, it doesn't permit tonight.
Good.
And we thought we were only and actually it was funny. Like when we first started, y'all throw the curtain back a little bit. We were like, because we're missing Sean tonight. There's a couple things to talk about, but actually, we can talk. We love wrestling. There's some things popping off, and I can't wait to have that conversation again with you, Eldon. We'll continue next week, hopefully with Sean. If not, we'll go and have some fun with the world of wrestling. But before we get up out of here, what do you got? How can people check you out with the Checkpoint, Webster Style, Sartorial, and Geek?
Yeah, I'm everywhere. Just look up Webster Style on the net, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, websterstyle.com.
There you go. Show my brother some love. It's your boy Kuya P. You can follow me at the Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, IG, Hive, and of course here with Webster Style and the whole squad at the NRW and at Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. This has been another KayFabeyBaby NRW Ring Generals podcast. We are out of here in a 1, 2, 3.
You come in my face, I'm gonna fight you.
Well, you're not gonna bust a nut anytime we're in the ring.
I'm gonna get off by cranking your knob just a little beyond the breaking point.
When I get my hands on you, I'm gonna eat your ass like a pot of collard greens, baby.
I'm gonna stretch his ass like it's never been stretched before. You can hide behind that commissioner stuff just so long until I jerk a knot in your ass.
And if you don't think I'm big enough, then you grab a hold of me, and you'll know that I'm growing, my man. Within your hands, I will get as big as I need to be to do the job on you.
All right, just jerk Helmsley off.
There's one part of our bodies that's soft, and it ain't soft all the time, if you catch my meaning.
I'm gonna come on you like nobody's ever come on you before. Just you and I getting it on like two men should do.
Oh, no, that fits right.
For you, boy. And I'm coming hard.